Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to. My name is Nick Eden, and you are tuned into Hurricane Ida edition of Morning Cup of Merch. And the hotel coffee to go with it. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, you can very clearly see I am not in my studio. I know this is not a casting couch, but I am currently in Montgomery, Alabama, which is ironic because I actually went to college here. But Hurricane Ida, you guys know that I'm from the Mississippi Gulf Coast. That's where I live now. And Hurricane Ida's headed that way. So myself and family, we all said peace out. And quite frankly, we're on the Wi-Fi of the hotel, so I don't know how well this is going to stream. So this is going to be an experience for everybody. I haven't done kind of a live-esque show like this in a long time, so I'm really interested to see how it goes. But I first want to say to anybody out there who has been affected or is being affected by Hurricane Ida, you all are in my thoughts and prayers. I would ask that the rest of the PLD community keep all of us in your thoughts and prayers right now. And if you're still in the affected areas, as of this recording, which is August 29th, if you're still in the affected areas, please, by all means, stay safe, get as far inland as possible. And, hopefully there are no losses, any casualties, anything like that. So it is ironic because the hurricane did hit the same day the hurricane hit 16 years ago. Today's the 16th year Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, seems like I can't get a break on the coast. So everybody from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and even parts of Texas, just again, be safe in our prayers and thoughts. And we're gonna get through this. And that actually inspired me to do the topic of today's show, which is pivoting in your printer journey. Excuse me. So, God, that's terrible coffee. It would be completely unbearable if I didn't have my hazelnut creamer. I didn't get my shirt or my cup. Like I don't have any. I brought my hat. I got, obviously I have my setup here, but man, this is still. So anyway, so pivoting in your print on demand journey. This is what I mean by it. You guys know the last show I talked about Q4 and everything up with it and getting prepared. And so I have a schedule that is a wonderful schedule of not only content, but the actual posting of my listings. No, I've got about roughly 8,000 more spots on Amazon. Let's just use them for example. Redbubble, Etsy, it's a little different. You don't have tier lists and things like that. But I have about 8,000 spots left to fill on Amazon. Am I going to get to all of them in Q4? No. And just to be completely honest, I might actually compromise some of the quality of them by doing that. And so for me, it just makes a little bit more sense, to where I have it spaced out, I'm prepared for it, and then all of a sudden, bam, hurricane hits. So that throws off the posting schedule because even though uh, the majority of my designs are done with the GoDaddy Studio app, formerly known as the Over app, I still have a lot of work that I need to do within Photoshop, and most of my stuff, and even the stuff that I'm doing in Illustrator, it's on my desktop, right? Not on my laptop. I have a small streaming laptop that's used just for like traveling purposes and everything. And so it puts me in position to where, a lot of the stuff that I had planned, I don't know that I'm going to necessarily be able to do. I don't lug my laptop. I don't lug my desktop around with me everywhere. So, uh, and the last time we had a hurricane around, a little later in the year, this time last year, we were out of power for like almost 3 weeks. So now having to pivot, particularly when it comes to just the production of designs and getting them uploaded the keywords, a lot of this stuff is centered around my desktop. And so now I have to pivot. I don't know how long I'm going to be here. I started working on some designs last night and some niches I've been researching to get them up. I can tell you now, I'm already into 2022. And I talked about that before, designing at least 90 days out. So it's not that I'm not prepared for Q4 from a holiday standpoint because I have those holiday designs up and ready to go. As a matter of fact, I've already started selling. This is what's crazy. I've already started selling Halloween designs, and I started like maybe 3 weeks ago, and it's been consistent. Like, I mean, it's not like a banger, it's like 2 or 3 a day, but even still, it's just like, man, uh, what I'll say is people love fall. Everybody's about fall. So those designs are up, but mostly like the evergreen stuff that I want to get out. In addition to the things that are more seasonal and centered around 2022, are the things that are on my content schedule. So now, how do I pivot? I don't know how long I'm going to be here. Quite frankly, I know I'm going to kind of front load at least a couple of podcasts so that you guys still get a consistent podcast. But we just don't know what's going on, and so the ability to pivot is knowing that you have this and having your plan A and going for your plan A, but also being able to do your plan B, C, all the way down to Z. So there are a couple of tips that I've learned that I wanted to share with you all today when it comes to pivoting, particularly in your print on demand journey. A lot of this stuff is centered around print on demand. It can be used towards life, but your print on demand journey, that's what we're here to talk about. And so the first tip is always have a secondary option. And what I mean by always having a secondary option, let's take this for example. I'm shooting a podcast in a hotel right now. I did bring my laptop and I did bring, most of my equipment. It's funny when I was putting everything in the car, my family was like, are you moving somewhere? I'm like, no, I said the work still has to get done. So I still got podcasts to shoot. I still have content to create. So having a secondary option. Now, what can that mean? If you are designing primarily, let's say your phone, we talk about this a lot, and you guys, you've seen on my YouTube channel all the videos that I do. Um, Primarily, yes, it's in GoDaddy Studio. I don't have Photoshop or Illustrator on this laptop, largely because it's just again, it's a small. I pay like $200 for this laptop. So this is just for some very specific purposes. But being able to pivot, with my phone, a lot of times I end up using my second phone. And I mean, and here's the thing: I know everybody doesn't have like a second phone, but I've said this before, time and time again. My goal is to make sure that anybody comes to this channel, if you've never designed before, for you to be able to take like $20, go to Family Dollar or Walmart or one of those places, get whether it's an iPhone or Android, even though I'm team iPhone, um, get a smartphone that you can get for like $20 now. Download the GoDaddy Studio app or the Canva app or Type Image or Typorama or any app that allows you to design and get to work. That's a secondary option. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to have service on it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have this or that. You really and just need to be able to functionally be able to create designs, catch up to a Wi-Fi signal, and upload them into your Airtable or your Google Drive. And so that secondary option allows you, even though it may not be the most situation, you might not have all you want, you might not have the pro version on that, but it does give you the option to where if you're going, the work is still able to be done. On the road, I wasn't driving the entire time, so when we were on the road, I'm like, okay, listen, it's spotty internet service, I'm tired but I don't want to go to sleep. You know what, let me just start knocking out some designs. And in terms of researching and what type of designs you can do, I say it all the time: your best research is your last 7 days of sales. And let's be honest, we all are obsessed with our accounts, whether it's Etsy, Redbubble merch. We know what the hell we sold in the last couple of days. So if nothing else, make some more versions of the things that you sold the last 7 days and utilize that time. Now, this was with traffic, this was probably about a 6-hour trip. That's normally like three something. So within those 6 hours, I was driving maybe half the time. I was able to knock out, maybe like 20, 30 designs. I don't count the text-based ones in there because that's a real quick thing for me. Formatting, and if you're not good at text-based, you know what? Use something like Type Image. They have wonderful, excellent typography templates for you to use. And I would also recommend getting the pro version. I say that all the time. You guys, this is a business. You have to invest in your business. But if you were just doing text-based versions of it, if you got a design that's been selling the last 7 days, maybe 3, 4 copies, okay, cool. Go ahead and make like 50, 60 more. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Become your own competition. So yeah, so having a secondary option, that's the first pivot. And you can still be productive with that. The second tip for being able to pivot. This is a little different. I'm not able to edit like I've been doing the last couple podcasts, but it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna make it work. But so the next tip in being able to pivot is also having everything to do with spreading your content out over multiple platforms, right? I have a friend of mine that recently was terminated from Merch by Amazon. And they text me about it, and I said, well, where else are you selling? Well, Amazon was like my big gun. And there's another person probably watching this and thinking it's them. I'm actually not talking about you because I know that you have been able to pivot and spread out your listings. But they said I don't really have another place. I was like, okay, well, first off, clearly you're not watching my content because clearly you did something that violated the terms of service and you don't have you don't have an account anymore. So that sucks. And they were talking about appealing, and I'm like, listen, with as much as Amazon has going on, I doubt that they would actually focus on the appeal, but it could happen. But if it doesn't, where else are you selling? We are on a cusp of Q4, and at the time, I want to say they were in like the 4,000 or 8,000 tier, something like that. But in any event, you've got at least however many designs up. Why are you not on Redbubble? Why are you not on Etsy? Why are you not on Society 6 or Designed by Humans? Why are you not on TeePublic? I actually met a young lady that makes about $300 a month selling on TeePublic. I don't do numbers like that on TeePublic. And I will tell you, $300 might not seem like a lot to folks, but it absolutely is. It absolutely is when you consider that T Public is not notoriously the biggest marketplace for selling. So somebody able to make $300 on T Public, well, that's amazing, and I'm pretty sure she's going to double and triple that going into Q4. So with that being said, I'm like, okay, why aren't you on these other marketplaces? You know about them. You've been in POD. I think I was like at least like 2 years, maybe, which was an amazing feat to be that high up on tiers and only being in that long. And they were just pretty much like, I my my bread and butter has been Amazon, and that's where all the traffic was. That's where all the content is. That's what everybody's talking about. I'm like, listen, you have really stifled yourself in terms of your platform, in terms of the things that you can do and where you can go. And so I checked back in. What was it? Right before we left, and they had created a Redbubble account, and they were going to go and put it up there. And I told them, hey, listen, whatever you did to get terminated, and let's be honest, you know what you did to get terminated on Amazon. Uh, whatever you did, don't do that shit. Do not do it again. It's just not worth it. It's not worth your account. It's not worth any of that. And you've already lost a major stream of income that you now have to build up. The good thing is you have proof of concept with the designs that you have. And so put those on Redbubble. I would also suggest putting them on TeePublic and Etsy. Really scale up and treat your business like an actual business and not just, we use the term side hustle, but I hate it when people kind of use the hustle mentality of let me just hustle and do this the black hat way. And it's just not going to work. And people get tempted, don't get me wrong. I understand that. But ultimately, it's not going to work. And then my final tip for being able to pivot in your print on demand, don't be afraid of the things that are new. Don't be afraid of the things that are not necessarily the most popular right now. If you're in merch by Amazon and you're not selling, it doesn't mean that you can't sell. Don't get me wrong. Because when I first got on merch by Amazon, I put my best sellers from Redbubble and Teespring on there. And I was like, if they sold on those two platforms, they're going to sell out the roof. I got nothing to worry about. They ain't sell shit. Not a thing. Not one. I even tried to relist them later on. I've gotten better about keywording. I was just like, okay, it's not for this platform. But if you're on merch by Amazon and you're not selling anything, it doesn't mean that you don't necessarily um, have the knack for print on demand. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have the knack for Amazon. It's just that maybe merch is the thing right now. Maybe it's something that you can pivot back to later, but play to your strengths. Be able to pivot. Good friend of mine, she is on merch, 10 tier. Actually, an amazing designer. It's just that merch isn't working out right now. Ironically, we were having a conversation, and she was talking about just kind of the frustrations that we got on the subject of Kindle Direct Publishing, which she just absolutely took to. And because of the type of the graphic designer, and that's an important thing, especially for all you graphic designers out there, because of the type of designer she is, KDP just happened to work out a lot better. She's got some amazing books, and she's loading them up, and she's doing journals, and she's doing all kind of things, plans, and all these different things. And amazingly enough, she's already got sales. She's already got reviews. Like, I mean, it's crazy, and this is all in the span of like a month and a half. So that's what I'm talking about when I say pivot. And she's even said she actually enjoys like designing for KDP more than she does for merch. That is the type of thing that you have to do to pivot. If something is not working out, it's not to say that you got to take it in the back and shoot it in the head. That's old yellow reference for anybody who tries to cancel me. It just means that maybe right now at that moment, it's not the best thing for you. So maybe there's another option that's still in that same vein that you can explore. Now, I'm pretty confident that she's going to end up being like a high five, low six-figure seller on KDP because her stuff is really good. And listen, I'm not the person to really talk about KDP. Like, you notice there's no KDP content on my channel because I tried to do 2 books and that shit didn't work out for me at all. So I just kind of left it alone because I'm like, okay, well, I'm selling, at that point 20, 30 a day on merch. Let me concentrate on where this thing is going, right? And so those are the 3 tips, and just in terms of being able to pivot. And quite frankly, that can be used in all aspects of life, but specifically on the print on demand journey, there's so many different ways and so many different avenues that you can use to make money. Still people that make money on Cafe Press. There's still people that make money on Zazzle. There's still people that make money on Spring. I just sold a couple shirts on Spring just the other day. So don't be afraid to move and pivot. And I'm telling you, you would be surprised the type of results that you would actually get. And so that's going to wrap it up for me today, guys. Again, I don't know how this is going to show up on the channel. We're using hotel Wi-Fi, but hopefully our podcast version of it is still great. Don't forget, guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Nick Eden, Facebook, Nick Eden Print on Demand, TikTok at Nick Eden, and Clubhouse at Nick Eden. Just search Nick Eden and follow everything you find. And on that, I'll say this. Even when you pivot, you can make as much money as you want to with print on demand, but you have to press the go button. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you next time.